To show you guys a trick on how to remove a pinion bearing. Specifically, this one was on a 6.2 liter Chevy, but I believe for a 350 or anything that has a clutch would probably work the same. I started out trying to remove it with a slide hammer and actually had broken another pair of these trying to pull mine out. It was being real stubborn. So I looked into a couple forums, and someone had suggested coming up with a rod or a dowel that would fit inside the diameter of the bearing or bushing. In my case, it was a bearing. This is the new one. And it fits in this way. And this is the old one still on there. And so what I did is I took my calipers and determine the diameter of the inside, and took a old piece of sucker rod and ground it down to that diameter. Actually less than that diameter, just a hair shy of that. So let's see if I can get this gauge to work here. You can see, it's a little bit less, just enough so that the sucker rod fits inside of there and doesn't bind up. And you want to make sure that you can bottom it out into the crank so that it doesn't get stuck in there. Some people suggest using a wooden dowel for safety, so you could always drill it out. I made sure that mine bottomed out freely. So I started by shoving a bunch of wet rags, or paper towels for that matter, into the pilot bearing, and what you do is you just shove as much in there as you can, wet ones, give it a couple knocks and hit it until it bottoms out. You got to do it probably, you pull the rod back out and you probably have to do it like 10 times because you'll crush it down and you'll see water coming out. Another version is to fill it with grease, but I'd rather have water spraying back at me than grease. So I just kept filling it in, tapping it along. You don't have to use excessive force, because what it is the water is going to press back. The water won't compress anymore with the paper towel. So what you end up with is like a cylinder that comes, just pushes back. The force is going in this direction, and it forces out on the lip of the old bearing, and it just gently comes back out. So you can see, here's my sucker rod that I ground down. Even I tapered it on the ends, so less likely to scar anything up. Make sure it's the right diameter far enough in, again, so it doesn't get hung up. So I was going to resort to a hacksaw or something like that, but this worked really well. So hopefully it helps out for you too. Take care.